Okay, so today we're going to solve percent problems, and we're going to use two separate methods. They are the percent proportion and the percent equation. I'm not going to say one is better than the other. Um, whatever you get comfortable with, you can use, but we will be using either or for a while because we're going to be, for the next few days, answering all kinds of real world questions that involve percentages. Okay? So we're going to use both. So let's talk about what they are. Okay, percent proportion. So I'm going to write it right underneath where I wrote. It's literally a proportion. You've probably heard of it. Part over whole equals the percent over 100. Raise your hand if you've worked with this or know about this. Part over whole equals percent over 100. Another way that sometimes people think of it, although it's not good, it's not recommended all the time because not all problems will be set up that way, is over of equals percent over 100. Is over of equals percent over 100. Is being the part, the number that represents a part, of meaning the part, the number that represents the whole, and then the percentage, obviously. They'll say whatever percentage, or they'll say what percent, and 100. Okay? So the other one, the percent equation, is an equation. So the equation is the following. Part equals whole, and all these are different numbers. Part equals whole times, I'll put the little times there, percent over 100. Now, I'm going to add one little caveat because you guys are smarter than the average bear. All this means percent over 100 is you write the percent as a decimal. So basically, you write the percent. You don't have to do over 100. You basically, they'll give you like 28%. 28% as a decimal is what? 0.28. So all that this means is write percent as a decimal. This whole thing. Basically, take the percent number divided by 100, you got it as a decimal. Write as a decimal. And what this is going to do is it's going to give us little equations that we solve for, one of the unknowns, and then there you go. We have our answer. Okay. So these are our two models. We're going to solve some problems. All right. Here we go. So if you want, by the way, you can also write. I'll do it in is over of equals percent over 100. These are equivalent. That's supposed to be an arrow going both ways. Okay? So is over of percent over 100 is the same as part over whole equals percent over 100. Okay. So we're going to solve the problem two different ways. Percent proportion way, percent equation way. Then you choose which one you like. Yes? This? That's like an arrow going both ways, meaning they're equivalent to each other. Didn't do a great job on that. All right. So let's go ahead and just do some examples. So you're going to get some questions like this. 18 is what percent of 72? Okay. Write that down, and that's a question, so question mark. And we're going to solve it two different ways. So first method is percent proportion. And you want to look at a few things. We got 18 is, then we have what percent, and then of 72. So do you see how is over of is going to be helpful in these? Not very helpful when it's like a full-fledged word problem. So that's why don't get too comfortable with that. But okay, let's go ahead and set up an equation as a percent proportion. So the way we do that is like this. And we figure out which is the part, which is the whole, and what's the percent. And one of them is our unknown. Let's determine that right now. Which part do we not know? The part, the whole, or the percent? It says what percent. So we'll give it a variable. What variable? N, X, P, whatever you want. I'll pick P for percent. So that goes here because we don't know that. How about 18? Is that part? Yeah, is. 18 is. So let's go ahead. That goes here. And then that means of 72, that's our whole. And remember proportions, we do the cross multiplying. So I'm going to say, let's see, 1800. I'm going to do 72p first. So I'm going to multiply these, write it here. 72 times p equals 18 times 100 is 1,800. And then since it's multiplication, we'll divide away the coefficient, 72. Okay, so what do we get as an answer? 25%. Easy peasy. Okay, so it's 25%. I like the percent proportion because the answer you get is that's how you answer it. That's your complete answer. Don't have to do any conversion. On using the percent equation, we're going to have to do a little conversion at the end. But that's not a big deal, I don't think. All right, so now we're going to use this one where we want our part. And which one was our part again? 18. So it's 18 equals, the whole was 72, times, I'm going to use parentheses to multiply. You can use whatever you want. X. Well, it's 72x. Okay. And how do we solve this one? You want to get x by itself. Right now it's 72 times x.
So we divide by x, or 72?
Divide by 72. And that gives us 0.5, if I'm not mistaken, 0.25. Yeah. What's the catch, though? It's 0.25, but that's not 0.25%. Right now it's expressed as a... Yes.
So do you move it 2 places to the left?
Yes.
To
to the right. So our final answer this way is 25%. But that's not a big deal, is it?
Nope.
Okay. So that's how we solve this with a percent proportion with a percent equation. All right. Let's do another one. Let's do what percent? Oh, I keep on doing what percent? Oh, well. What percent of 8 is 20? Okay, well, let's set it up again as a percent proportion. This time, I want you to pick it out. Set up your percent proportion. check with your partner, make sure you agree. So I'll spot you this much and set up the rest. So 20 over 8 equals P over 100. We will cross multiply. I love the name. Well, it's not a mathematical name, but have you heard this called the butterfly?
Yeah.
I love that in math we use something called the butterfly. 8P equals 2,000. So P equals what? What's 2,000 divided by 8? And here we don't have to convert anything. It's just 250p. Okay, let's set up the percent equation. So if we're doing the part, what's the part again? Which number is the part? 20 equals 8 times P. I use X instead of P there, but and you do the same thing, divide by 8. And then P equals 2.5, correct?
Yeah.
We got to move over the decimal 2 places. And so that's still 250%. Okay. Ready for a couple more? Okay. Number tres. Okay. This one is, what is 74% of 56? What is 74% of 56? Question mark. All right. Let's see. We have what is. Then we have 74%. And then we have of 56. So we'll do the percent proportion. What is our unknown? The part, the whole, or the percent? Part. So you can use whatever you like. Some people just use X for everything. That's fine. So I'll use X this time. And so that's our part. We don't know that. That goes there. That means 74 is the percent. And the whole is 56. And let's cross multiply this with the butterfly. Okay, so if we cross multiply, we get 100x equals 56 times 74. 4,144. And so we got to divide by 100. So x turns out to be, now if this was money, $41.44. A lot of the stuff we're going to be doing is going to deal with money, by the way. All right. Let's do the percent proportion. So again, we want part equals whole times percent over 100, which just means write it as a decimal. So the part we don't know is So the part we don't know is the part equals 56 times our percent as a decimal would be what?
0.7.
So when you multiply that, guess what you get? Sometimes it's quicker and more efficient, like in this case. Okay. What if I give you 9%? Oops. Of what is 255? 9% of what is 255? Question mark. Okay. So let's see. Obviously, 9% goes here. Which one do we not know? The whole. The whole is what we don't know. So we'll call that x again, I guess. And that goes here. And so 255 goes on the top. This tells me my answer is going to be pretty big. But let's figure it out. Okay, so the butterfly gives us 9 times x, which is 9x equals 25,500. Oops. Why did I put another 2? Okay, so we got to divide this by 9. So we need 25,500 divided by 9. Yeah, we got a repeater. So 2,833. 0.3 repeating, and that's just how it goes sometimes. Okay. So let's set up the percent equation. 255 equals x. X is the whole, that's the part we don't know. And we're going to multiply that by over 100, which is what? Move the decimal in 2 places.
0.09.
Yeah, it's important you write it as the percent is a decimal. And then how do we get x by itself?
Divided by the percent.
Yeah. So now we get x equals, when you divide 255 by 0.09, you get okay. Now the last example we're going to do is just kind of a full-on word problem. So today you're going to get some like this, and then some that are written with more context. Okay? So by more context, a certain situation. So this is our last example. And it's going to be a full-on problem. So here it is. A salad gets 28 of its calories from protein. So the protein can come from chicken or maybe some steak or maybe garbanzo beans, something like that. Um, if this is 20%, if this is 20% of the total calories, comma, how many calories does the salad have? Okay, so at this point, you tell me. You tell me, yes.
Can we just multiply 28 times 5?
Multiply 28 times 5. Oh, okay. But the choices are percent, proportion, or percent equation. You guys want to do the percent equation? Okay. So we still have to determine which is the part, which is the whole. So 28, part or whole? The only other number I see there is the percent, so that's obviously the percent. Oops. Yeah, your method works in this particular case because it's 20% is nice. It's 1/5 of the whole, but we're not always going to be that lucky. So I want to give you a strategy that would work in general. Okay, so we don't know the whole. So I'm going to say x equals whole. So how would we set it up with a percent equation? What do I start with? 28 equals x, yeah, 0.2. Convert that to a percent. Then divide by 0.2. And x turns out to be 140 calories. All right. And of those 140 calories, probably 60% are the salad dressing. They used to say, I don't know if it's true, that the items that had the most calories at like McDonald's were the salads because they use really a lot of oil and stuff in their salad dressing. At least they used to say that. Delta Math is the assignment for today, guys.